President cannot be the procurement manager in chief for IEBC. We have established that the CEO of this firm, Mr. Aziz Al Ghurair, is an intimate friend of the Kenyatta family and a frequent guest at the home of Mohoho Kenyatta. In fact, Mr. Mohoho is the local contact of Al Ghurair and possibly a shareholder in the firm. Information in our possession indicates that the Chief Executive Officer of the IEBC, Mr. Ezra Chiloba, and the Director of Election Operations and Voter Registration, Immaculate Kasait, were the contacts for State House in the decision to award the tender and procedurally and illegally to Al Ghurair. We have established that President Kenyatta summoned the IEBC CEO to the State House meeting where Mr. Aziz was present as head of a Dubai business delegation. Mrs. Kasait, on her part, is clouded in numerous integrity issues. She reports on a weekly basis to the State House, where she gives status updates to the head of the Public Service and Chief of Staff, Joseph Kinyua. Mrs. Kasait is also a member of a Jubilee-leaning organization known as the Mount Kenya Foundation, which operates from the Parklands area. The activities of this foundation are shrouded in mystery. The offices of this organization is accessed only by President Kenyatta, Deputy President William Ruto, Mrs. Winnie Gushu, Cabinet Secretary Joseph Nkaiseri, businessman Chris Kirubi, former Cabinet Secretary Davis Chirchir, and former Chief of General Staff Joseph Karangi. Kasait provides frequent updates on the state of affairs at IEBC to this group. Only a few months ago, Mrs. Kasait hired close to 20 temporary employees for her department, all of them from one ethnic community. These temporary employees have been deployed to work on the register. From the foregoing, it is clear that these two senior IEBC officers, CEO Ezra Chiloba and Mrs. Kasait, are currently the single most serious threat to the holding of a free and fair election on 8th August 2017. These two should immediately step aside and investigation should be commenced into their conduct and tenure at the IEBC. We want President Kenyatta to come clean on his hand and his family links with the Dubai firm and state his interest in the contract that the firm was awarded. The interest, in our view, is clear. The President and his Jubilee team are looking for a firm that can supply extra ballots secretly, as was the case in 2013. In our view, the chairman of the commission and his fellow commissioners must exert their constitutional authority to rein in the rogue elements in the Secretariat as recommended by the Joint Parliamentary Committee on issues affecting the Commission. Al Ghurair, although being a multi-billion-dollar outfit, has not been involved in the supply of election materials in established democracies. Their portfolios include engagements in countries like Afghanistan and Libya, elsewhere in Zambia and Uganda. They have ended their engagement under dark clouds of acrimony and dissatisfaction. They have a reputation as a user-friendly supplier of election materials to incumbent governments. Influence peddling is part of their tools of trade. In these circumstances, the only option for IEBC is to cancel this tender and award it in accordance with the law to any other reputable international printers that are not associated with any stakeholder in the next election. Let IEBC not tell us that we are running out of time. The country has in the past conducted nominations 3 weeks to voting day, and this has been sufficient time for printing of ballot papers to be completed. The issue of delay is only an excuse to create a crisis to justify the giving of this tender to Al Ghurair. End of statement.